I'm Roger Wood for Work Opportunities Unlimited with another in our series, Sounds of Success, true stories of how our valued teammates have created success in the workplace every day. Joe Leddy is the founder of Work Opportunities Unlimited over a quarter of a century ago.
1982, April Fool's Day.
I caught up with Joe speaking to other team members at the Work Opportunities Unlimited Bedford, New Hampshire office.
To talk a little bit about work opportunities, I got to go back a little bit earlier in my career. When I graduated from college, I took a job at a veterans hospital. This is 1969, after I got out of college. And I took a job at the Veterans Hospital in Northampton, Mass. And the reason I took that job is because it was a pilot project for the VA to work with veterans coming back from Vietnam who were not only blinded, but they also had like emotional, psychological problem, kind of reentry.
The veterans that Joe worked with were blind or visually impaired.
The goal was to teach the veteran that they could still do things, they could still live their life and have a normal life, even though they were blind. And so my goal was to allow them to work with tools, work with machines, and as you might know, if you just close your eyes and you think you're going to go up to a table saw, that's a kind of a scary thing. So I would teach them how to do that.
After 5 years there, Joe, a New Hampshire native, went to work with the New Hampshire Technical College System, still working with blind people. From there, he went to the State Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, running a workshop, again for those with sight issues. This was a decade before opening Work Opportunities Unlimited.
Running a workshop, it's like a business, and of course I always loved business. And so I took that job at the workshop and went in, and the workshop was in really, really rough. It was way behind the times, so the goal was to kind of modernize it, bring it up to speed, get people, have them earn more money.
While the state-of-the-art in such protected workshops at the time limited workers' chances in the outside world, Joe Leddy became inspired to move a step further when he heard Mark Gold speak in Boston. Gold produced a film, Try Another Way. What impressed Joe was Mark Gold's decision to train a man with severe disabilities to assemble a complicated bicycle brake. Gold chose a man from the backward of a large institution with an IQ so low it couldn't be registered.
In the first day, nothing. Then the second day, did the same thing. The process came in, and then he started right off. As he's putting his hands on the ends, as the guy started picking the pieces up, he might drop him. He'd say, "Okay, now we'll try another way." "All right, come on, we'll try another way." And he did that. And I don't remember now again if it was 4 days, 5 days, whatever it was. All of a sudden, click. He puts the first piece together, and then, boom, next piece, he put it together. Boom. And again, to make a long story short, at the end of the film, he comes in, he sits down, and he goes, click, boop, boop. He assembled the whole bicycle brake. And I was sitting there in the audience saying, "Oh my God." At that time, it was moving because I was thinking what I was doing in my professional career with people with severe disabilities. And then what he demonstrated, that I had he inspired me to think, oh my God. And I had to give a talk, about my sheltered workshop after, which I was sinking in my seat thinking about it. But it worked out okay. I was able to do it. Don't forget, it was a cutting-edge technology at that time.
Back at Joe's workshop, one of the workers expressed interest in getting a real job in the outside world.
Fred, one of the gentlemen, said, "Joe, you know what? I'd like to get a real job." And of course, when he said that, he had asked me this before, and I would always say, "Well, gosh, you have a real job. Look, you're making $4 more an hour now, coming here like that." And he says, "No, I'd like to have a real job."
This was an era when societal thinking was changing about institutionalized individuals.
The big suit of parents suing the institutions about their sons and daughters, about the treatment, because, you know, there were a whole bunch of exposés about how people were being treated in these institutions, which was like terrible. And as a little side note, my brother-in-law, my wife's brother, was in Laconia State School. And I would go, she and I would go up, and I would visit John, and John would always say, can you take me home? Can you take me out of here? And boy, I'll tell you. And as we were driving out, I remember looking in the rearview mirror and seeing John waving, you know, up Laconia. It was one that kind of impacted my thinking about what I was doing at the workshop, because I was building this business, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, this guy's asking me, I want to get a real job.
That leads to the second inspiration, Jessima's story.
And Jessima was a deaf-blind woman, and she was one of our best workers, which was counterproductive to the production I'm doing.
What kind of a job could you get her?
Mary and Carol Johnson got her a job at Carol Cable Company, which is right down on Canal Street. They went in and talked with the employer, and this employer was great.
To help ensure Jessima's success and safety, a support person was brought in to make sure she would thrive in a manufacturing environment. The result? Employment success.
Jessima, retired from the Carol Cable Company. She was terrific. What a good worker. Her production rate was up. So and this was like spinning these little armatures there. I mean, very fine wire. She was terrific. So she was our first person.
It was the successful early placements that ultimately led to Joe Leddy's establishment of Work Opportunities Unlimited in 1982. That's the subject of our next segment on the firm's founder. I'm Roger Wood.